So I have visual aid. If you want to take a look at that, pass that around. Have you ever thought to yourself, I live in a horrible time period. It'd be much cooler to live in the 60s or sail across the ocean with Christopher Columbus. Personally, I've always been deeply interested in history, so I've considered living in other time periods on more than one occasion. Out of all the time periods I've pondered living in, I ultimately came to the conclusion that the golden age of Athens would be my ideal place that I would rather go to. Have you ever wanted to see Parthenon of Athens in its full glory, like in the visual aid that I gave you, or have a conversation with one of the first philosophers, Socrates? Personally, I would love to live in Athens because it's rich in education and the arts, the gods and their complexity fascinates me, and there are many social and technological systems I'm comfortable with. So in the golden age of Athens, it's full of historical figures with love for education, right? People like Socrates were alive and well. That was kind of the beginning of philosophy. So there's a lot more philosophers like his students, Plato and Aristotle, and people who question their existence and expand their understanding of the world around them. Also, art was everywhere in all forms: sculptures, paintings, you name it. And Athenians take great pride in their artistry. You can tell by like the Parthenon, their architecture everywhere. Everything was just kind of centered around art in that area. So, you guys ever heard of the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey? So the guy that supposedly came up with that, Homer, would be walking around. He'd be a cool guy to talk to, maybe have a few stories for, to pass around. So clearly, if you love art in any form, there are multiple things to make a person want to move to Athens. Now, the Greek gods and their complexity are fascinating to me. There's a god for just about everything. God for the sun, they got one of those. God for love, one of those as well. Even God for the gods. And with that, they all have children. They all have their own stories. So there's like a deep, deep connection with all of that. And everybody who's lived there is gonna know, like how we have our religions today. Everybody knows their religion in depth, and it's gonna be the same way that it was over there. So you can talk to them just about anybody, and they'll tell you, this is what Zeus did, and this is what Hercules did, and Athena did this, and this and that. So there's a lot of that everywhere. So that's interesting to me. And remember how I told you Athenians love their art? Well, the gods are a big inspiration for their art. Like in the picture that I gave you, that's the god Athena that was in the Parthenon back in the day. It's not there anymore, but that's what it was supposed to look like back then. So sculptures, that kind of thing would be all over the place as far as their gods go. Another thing that'd be cool about kind of their gods and their religion is there'd be oracles everywhere, or maybe not everywhere, but there'd be oracles that you could go talk to, ask them questions. Hey, what it would be like our version of what do you call it? Like sidekicks. I guess they have their own way of doing it. It'd be cool to just kind of explore that. So, although it might seem like it, with all the talk about, my interest in the culture would definitely not be the only reason I would choose this time period. There's a lot of social and technological systems that they have that we have in our society that would make me a little bit more comfortable over there. So Athenians treasured what they called aqueducts, which were man-made passages of water that brought water to the city, which made things like toiletries and stuff like that, bathhouses and things available. So I wouldn't be like using the bathroom in the hole in the ground. I'd go to a bathroom to use a bathroom, kind of like we do now. Their governments also run on a democratic system like our own. A little bit different, but it's representation from the common people. As long as you're like a landowning male, that's kind of the way that they ran, but it was still like a jury of your peers kind of situation, kind of like how we have today. And like most of the countries or the developed countries in the world, they have high priority on cleanliness. So you wouldn't have dirty people walking around, have nice clean clothes, robes, that sort of thing. So kind of like how it is today, there's a focus on hygiene. So that would make me comfortable there too. And then ultimately, I would choose to move to the golden age of Athens for a few specific reasons that I'm sure most of you could agree with. That it was ripe in history and art during the day. The Greek gods and the complexity are just kind of big, and it's a broad subject that you could delve into with anybody. And their technological and social systems are kind of similar to what we got today. So Maybe one day, if we ever perfect time travel, you can catch me back in Athens, admiring our work and discussing our role in the world with Socrates in a nice, clean world.
Awesome.